The immortal pen of James Fenimore Cooper brings you thrilling tales of excitement, blazing action on the early American frontier, stirring adventures filled with the daring and courage of Hawkeye, first of the Long Rifles, and his blood brother, Chingachgook, last of the Mohicans.
Well, my compliments to you, son. You sure took care of that redskin. What happened?
He was trying to shoot you in the back. But I'm afraid I'm not in the best of shape for this sort of thing. I haven't had a go at Indian wrestling since I was a boy.
Reckon you saved us from being bushwhacked. Kind of like to know who we're thanking.
I'm Lieutenant John Ewing, Royal Rifles, en route to Fort Oshkosh.
Since when did the Army trade them red coats for buckskins?
My uniform's neatly tucked in my pack. A spanking new lieutenant like myself has to be presentable when he reports to a commandant for the first time.
Ewing. Of course, old General Ewing's boy. You couldn't be anyone else.
Why, yes. Did you know him?
Yeah. You too, when you're about that high. One of my first jobs was scouting for your pa.
He was good soldier.
And so was my grandfather before him.
Right proud to meet you, Lieutenant. I'm called Hawkeye. This is Chingachgook, my blood brother.
It's a pleasure.
More like our pleasure. I guess we wouldn't be standing here at Juan if you hadn't jumped on him. You'll find yourself mighty welcome at Fort Oshkosh. Folks thereabouts still remember your pa.
I requested my assignment here because I've always felt this country was home. I speak Iroquois and several other Indian tongues. I was brought up knowing all the Indian ways.
You take. Me believe your father, General. Not bring prisoner to fort. First time.
Lieutenant John Ewing reporting as ordered, sir.
Well, at ease, Lieutenant. We're glad to have you with us, Ewing. Hawkeye.
Major?
How did you fare with the prisoner?
Nothing short of torture will make him open his mouth. Maybe I didn't make myself clear, Major. That Winnebago's the lieutenant's prisoner, not mine. He captured him when Chingachgook and me weren't even looking.
Single-handed, eh?
Not quite, sir. I was well supported. I might not have been so brave if Hawkeye and Chingachgook weren't nearby.
Now, don't throw a bushel over your light. That redskin was drawing a bead on us. The lieutenant came along, spoiled his aim, and took him as pretty as you please.
It'll be a pleasure to report this to your father.
I'd rather you wouldn't, sir.
But, Ewing, I'm sure your father would be most proud.
It's a personal matter, sir.
Very well, Ewing. I have some business with Hawkeye. I want you to listen. It may brief you on some of our problems.
Yes, sir.
Get comfortable, Hawkeye. This may take some time. The capture of that brave, wearing war paint, confirms the rumors that the Winnebagos have joined Iliwassett and his renegade band.
Iliwassett? That was the name of my boyhood playmate. His father was a council chief for the Seneca, Tamaqua, a signer of the peace treaty.
Tamaqua dead. Iliwassett has rejected the treaty and has been raising a hornet's nest ever since.
We were blood brothers, like you and Chingachgook. Why, when I left for England, he traveled 100 miles with me, just so we could be together that much longer.
Lieutenant, it's unfortunate, but playful young cubs do grow up and become deadly marauders. Now, by the day after tomorrow, our ammunition wagons should leave from headquarters. They're coming by way of Big Lake. Now, without them, or if they should fall into Iliwassett's hands, nobody in this fort would be safe.
Somebody ought to keep an eye on Iliwassett's camp.
There isn't a scout in the fort who'd volunteer for the assignment. Iliwassett's as sharp as a fox. And capture means death by torture.
Sir, I'd like to volunteer for the assignment.
I admire your courage, Lieutenant, but this calls for experienced scouts, woodsmen.
You got him, Major.
You're always a step ahead of my request, Hawkeye. How many men do you need?
More men would just be in the road.
When can I expect you back?
Oh, a week, maybe 2. Depends on what we run into.
Well, good luck.
I'd rather have luck than brains anytime, Major.
And thank you.
Bye, Lieutenant.
Could I speak to you in confidence, sir?
Well, certainly, Lieutenant. Sit down. Oh, what's on your mind?
I'm rather embarrassed to bring this up, sir. It's that personal matter. It concerns my relationship with my father.
Are you quite sure I'm the proper person to discuss an intimate matter with?
Quite sure. You see, sir, it's a problem of being accepted for what you are.
Just because you're the Chief of Staff's son doesn't mean you'll get any special consideration under my command.
If you really mean that, Major, why did you give Hawkeye the duty I volunteered for?
Well, I merely chose the man best qualified for the job.
Without meaning any disrespect, sir, may I remind you that Hawkeye is risking his life with an enemy whom I can face as a friend.
If you're referring to Eli Wassett, he's nobody's friend.
When Eli Wassett and I were boys together, we established a set of signals to identify each other in the woods. I haven't forgotten them, and I'm sure he hasn't. If I could only speak to him, I'm sure I can convince him to come in peacefully.
You put me between the hammer and the anvil, Ewing. If anything were to happen to you, how would I ever explain to your father that I sent a green lieutenant into the enemy's camp?
There you are, sir. My father again. If I were Lieutenant Jones and proposed this, would you let me go?
Prepare to leave. I'll have Hawkeye wait for you.
Yes, sir.
We're getting near Eli Wassett's camp. Keep your eyes peeled. He might have scouts out.
Seneca.
Winnebagos. Still want to powwow with that buzzard?
Under that face is the boy I knew, my blood brother.
His brother only to Wolf now. Want to sink fangs into white man.
You stay here, Lieutenant. Chingachgook and me are going to circle around, try to get in closer. We got to find out what Eli Wassett's up to.
But I came along to talk to him.
Now, you're a soldier, Lieutenant. Got to know it isn't good tactics to risk all your troops at the same time if you don't have to.
Very well. I'll wait here until you get back.
If we don't, it's up to you to get word to Major Duffy about this gathering of the tribes.
Together, the Seneca and Winnebago will bring flame and arrow to white devils everywhere. We will drive them from the land of our fathers, as Manitou wills.
If the lieutenant heard this, he wouldn't be so fired anxious to meet Eli Wassett.
It's been a long time, my blood brother. But I knew you'd never forget.
Eli Wassett never forget anything.
I promised you, the moment I got my commission, I'd come back home.
My brother is Yankee's soldier now.
Lieutenant. And this is my first assignment. To speak to you about keeping the peace. I convinced my major that 2 blood brothers like ourselves could smooth out the difficulties without resorting to violence.
Like time when we young, make small peace council.
Exactly. I knew you'd see it this way once we got together again. Return with me to Fort Oshkosh, Eli Wassett. Bring some of your warriors. These chiefs, too. Now that we're both grown up, We can have a big peace council.
Looks like he might get away with it after all. Never before me see sheep pull fangs of wolf.
How many warriors I bring?
10, 15, a guard of honor befitting a leader like yourself. Major Duffy will be more than pleased to welcome you.
All want go to fort. I not know which to choose.
You know your warriors better than I do, Iliwassett. Why not select the bravest for this honor?
I choose Keris, Antate. You want go to fort? Need gun, not lance.
You won't need any weapons.
You wrong. Need plenty weapon when take fort.
Take the fort? You can't mean what you're saying, my blood brother.
No white man Iliwasset's blood brother. Iliwasset cut blood tie 12 moon ago. White men come to my father's teepee, filled with firewater. Shoot Tamakwa, kill my mother. And now Iliwasset kill all white men. And you, Yankee soldier, tell where get gun for warpath. Take him to torture stage. Blood of Iliwasset in his veins make him brave much torture. But him still white man. Hart, like rabbit, make tongue tell everything. We go now. Get wagons, get many guns. We get guns!
Follow. See what they're up to. And you, my brother. I'm gonna go pick up what's left of our friend.
Well, there's only one thing we can do now, Hawkeye. March towards Big Lake. At least we might be able to help those wagons get through. Sound general quarters, full packs, battle order.
Too late to help wagons now. Iliwasset capture. Kill everybody.
No, I'll have to accept Ewing's resignation. Such a fine, promising career. And he had to throw it all away because he was too weak a soldier to die with his lips sealed.
Indian torture, much cruel.
They can make a man forget he's got a soul, let alone loosen his tongue.
Yes, but if he'd only listened to you instead of signaling Iliwasset.
I reckon you or me might have done the same thing. Pretty hard to believe that your own blood brothers turned into a dirty double-crossing snake.
Well, actually, I'm as much to blame as he is. I should never have let him go with you in the first place.
Yeah, I reckon I was wrong, too. I shouldn't have left him alone. Where's the lieutenant now?
Packing. Well, what's done is done. We can't sit here lamenting. The order for general quarters stands. I want every able-bodied man ready within half an hour.
Major, that's an order you ought to think over. You're leaving the fort awful easy pickings with no one to defend it.
I have no choice.
Well, that depends on what Iliwasset's up to.
Me follow Iliwasset and braves to camp. They make victory dance.
Victory dance. If I know anything about Winnebagos, there's no telling how long they'll keep celebrating. They sit around talking and boasting about what they're going to do next.
In that case, attack is my best defense. We'll take them by surprise.
Not in redcoats, Major. Out in the forest, they're a little too bright to surprise anyone. It's a job for the militiamen.
I have more than 20 under my command.
Well, that's plenty for what I got in mind.
Well, I've always respected your judgment when it comes to Indian fighting, Hawkeye. I'll issue the orders. When do you plan to leave?
After nightfall. And just in case Iliwasset's got a couple of braves watching us, we'll leave by the back way. I'll see you then. Oh, you going someplace?
You know as well as I do that I resigned my commission.
Yeah, the major did say something about it.
Did he tell you, had I not resigned, I'd have had to face a court-martial?
Well, as much as I know about those court-martials, Lieutenant, I reckon they're the same as any other kind of trial. You gotta be proven guilty before you're convicted.
Nothing has to be proved in my case. I admit my guilt. I admit divulging a military secret. I admit I'm not a soldier in the Ewing tradition.
No, you didn't exactly volunteer those answers to Ely Wassett. Bigger and stronger men than you have cracked wide open when tied to a torture stake.
Leave me alone, Hawkeye. I'm not worthy of your sympathy.
Well, I didn't come here to dole out any of that. I came here to ask your help.
Help? From me?
It's pretty rare finding men who know the woods around here like you. I need men like that if Ely Wassett's ever to be stopped.
I don't belong in the forest. I was wrong when I thought this was my home. This place is through with me, and I'm through with it. I'm going to get as far away from it as I can.
Well, I don't blame you for thinking that way after the beating you took. Chingachgook and me and a handful of militia are going out tonight after Ely Wassett. No matter what you think about yourself, I'd be right proud to have you alongside me. Well, if you happen to change your mind, why, give me a holler.
Well, good hunting, Hawkeye. I only wish I was going with you.
Someone's got to stay and look after the store, Major. You seen anything of Ewing?
Yes, he left this afternoon.
Say where he was headed?
He mentioned someplace out west. Someplace the Indians call Kentucky.
Oh, I wish he'd told me that. Got an old friend down there he could have looked up, a fella by the name of Daniel Boone.
If he here to fight by side of Hawkeye, militiamen not need to leave warm bed.
I'm afraid this is one time, Chingachgook, when you're going to need all the firepower you can muster.
Now, stop fretting, Major. We'll get out of this mess yet. Somehow, when you're on the side of right, you usually come out on top.
Well, good luck.
Big snow cover everything. Me scout from here to Bend in River. No tracks.
Yeah, but we'll have to move carefully after that point.
White man come. Be ready. No shoot. Send a medicine man before you ambush.
Hear me, white man. Gitchy Manitou sent his curse on you. Death is your lot. You cannot escape his vengeance.
Keep the men here. I'm going to see if I can get that fella to swallow some of his own medicine.
Hear me, Manitou. An enemy approaches. Make his knees like water. Cause his blood to run cold.
You've been doing a powerful heap of gabbing, medicine man. Suppose you listen to me for a change.
Don't you recognize me, Hawkeye?
Ewing. Deploy. You're heading straight into Ely Wassett and his braves. I hurl the lance of war into the ground that will mark your grave.
Take back your lance, medicine man. Tell your people we don't want war.
Where's he hidden? You must die. Behind me, to your left.
Manitou wants peace, just as we do. Where'd you get that outfit?
Had to be in its original owner. I spit on you and all white men. Hurry, take cover. They won't shoot while I'm here. Hear me, Manitou. Make our arms strong. Let not the guns of enemy touch my people. Curse all white men. Give us their scalps to adorn our lodges. We will roam free, as did our fathers.
We're surrounded like sitting ducks. Don't make any sudden moves, but ease toward cover.
Hear me, O Manitou. I dance to you.
Him no medicine man. Shoot! Shoot! First, you want to kill. Now try help. Why?
I didn't want to kill you. It was my duty.
After him!
And no matter what you've done, I can't hate you. You're still the blood brother of my boyhood.
Hawkeye!
My blood and your blood go into earth. And with it, Illiwasset's hate. Maybe one day, under kind eye of Manitou, in the happy hunting ground, we be blood brothers again.
And so, for rendering service beyond the call of duty, it is recommended that Lieutenant John Ewing be awarded the Medal of Parliament. A full account of his heroic act accompanies this recommendation. Signed, Major Richard Duffy, Commanding Officer, Fort Oshkosh. The original of that letter was sent to General Alfred Ewing, Chief of Staff.
He'll be proud that I've joined the ranks of the Ewings, just as I am, sir.
Oh, by the way, Lieutenant, while we're at it, we may as well make something else official. I came across this among my effects the other day. Can't imagine how it got there. Some nonsense about your resignation.
If you don't mind my saying, Major, sounds like something one of those Seneca medicine men would have done.
Medicine man do many strange things.
Join us again at this same time next week for another of James Fenimore Cooper's gripping tales of the early American frontier. Another exciting adventure of Hawkeye and his blood brother, Chingachgook, last of the Mohicans.